out what went wrong. So initially we thought he wasn't taking shots, so it's a shoulder injury. He wasn't setting up on the half ball for the one-timer position. Tyler Johnson was there. It must be shoulder. Then a game later, he's firing from there. Okay, so it's not the shoulder. Why is he still playing high spot on the power play? Not really lining up for that. Guys are double clutching when they're thinking about passing to him. He's not getting passes. Guys are hesitant to feed him the puck, and his minutes are around 13. Something that he swears he's not hurt, but he's not going to admit that during the playoffs. But there is something wrong with Steven Stamkos right now. Is it the skating muscle? Is it groin? What is it? We don't know, but there's something up with Stamkos for sure.
What are your best guesses as to why he's playing 13 minutes?
Injury. It has to be. I mean, otherwise, you have a thoroughbred like Steven Stamkos. Why isn't he out there for 20 minutes a game? He's allegedly your number one center. Now, I know the triplets line is sort of taking over and producing all the offense. Tyler Johnson with 2 more goals yesterday, bring him up to 6 for the Stanley Cup playoffs. But
how fast is he, by the way?
Oh, man, he's so speedy. I mean, he's like our new favorite, little run since Marty St. Louis. The kid's fantastic. I mean, I remember watching him play with Spokane when they won the Memorial Cup, and I thought, well, yeah, that's a really good hockey player. It's a really great junior career for this young man. But this is going to be his zenith. This is his mountain that he's going to climb, and after that, he's going to probably string it out in the minors and finish it up in Europe somewhere. But he just goes and goes and goes. And if you look at that game in Detroit a couple of games ago where he got schmucked, he bounces right back. I mean, he takes a beating, he gets bounced around, and you're right, this guy just the whole line flies, right? I mean, especially Andre Palat, who's a fantastic and underrated hockey player. But when when number 9's on the ice for Tampa, it's kind of impossible to take your eyes off from one. To your point, how quick he is, but 2, how he's able to navigate 200 by 85, being such a small guy at such a high speed, such a high skill set, dude.
Jeff, staying on that line, the hit on Kronwall on Kucherov, suspendable hit?
I think it is.
For Game 7?
I know that's. Well, we should ignore that it's a Game 7, George. All history.
Yeah, it's Game 7. It's Game 7, so leaving his feet didn't really matter.
Yeah, this is a tricky one for Stefan Quintal. And for the past 4 or 5 seasons, there has been a suspension in the first round. Thought we might get away clean this year, but maybe not so fast. Had his leg up even before the hit. Launched himself upwards, the elbow into the head. Was Kucherov leaning down a little bit? Yeah, maybe, probably. But has Kronwall been suspended for similar hits before? No. To your point, George, it's Game 7. Do we want to really do this? Boy, this is a tough one. This is one of the first big tests for Stefan Quintal in this new department of player safety. I say one. It's funny. The best thing that could have happened to Detroit yesterday was if you're going to have that hit, have it early in the game and have Kronwall thrown out. So that would sort of count for the 1-game suspension, and he would be free and clear to play Game 7. This one didn't happen in the first period, and now there's going to be questions about whether he's suspended or not. It is a suspendable hit.
Oh, yeah.
By the definition of a bad hit, it's just a bad hit.
Which is what give us some of the criteria, Jeff. He left his feet. He made contact with the head first.
Yeah. And it's a charge.
Yeah.
It's a charge for sure. Feet off the ice.
But he came back. He came back, though. Does that matter in the decision making?
They will make it matter, and they usually do. They try to, in a lot of cases, they'll try to marry severity of the injury to length of the suspension. It's a suspension at all. So that will be a mitigating factor. It's a no-win situation for Quintal. It really is. This is a tough one, but by definition of what a bad expendable hit is, I think this one hits the criteria. It's a charge. He's off his feet. Primary point of contact is the head. Suspension.
Yeah, I agree. Washington last night, it was a weird game. Only 11 shots on net for the Islanders, which spoke volumes about how well defensively Washington played. But they're moving on. Can you be nothing but excited for Alexander Ovechkin? He's in uncharted territory now.
Yeah, this is kind of getting into new, sort of virgin territory for Alexander Ovechkin. And the way the Capitals played, direct correlation to the new head coach. I don't know under any of the head coaches they had previously, whether it's Dale Hunter, whether it's Bruce Boudreau, whether it's Adam Oates, that the Washington Capitals can win that game. When a goaltender like Yaroslav Halak is standing on his head, I don't know if the Capitals win that game unless Barry Trotz, who's behind the bench, has instilled this defensive acumen on the scene, the likes of which we haven't seen in Washington probably forever, well, in the sort of post-205 lockout era. It was a great performance by Washington. They didn't get frustrated. They stuck with the game plan. Jay Beagle almost ended it in the third there. Great save by Yaroslav Halak. And every series produces new superstars, and there's a real sort of debutante ball happening right now. It's getting defense off. And for how many years, guys?
How about that goal, too?
Oh, and what patience, right? Like this whole, it was so funny. When he got drafted in 2010, we heard for 4 years, there's the best player not playing in the NHL right there, Evgeny Kuznetsov, and he finally arrived. You know, he had an okay rookie season, and he's not going to be on anyone's call about. But all of a sudden, in these playoffs, in that opening round against the Islanders, he's showing the poise of someone, you know, who's 5 years into his career in the NHL. I think finally the Capitals have found their second-line center solution after Nick Backstrom that's keep getting sent off.
Do you find it as a whole now, Jeff, that we're kind of starting to root for Alex Ovechkin to maybe win that Stanley Cup? Do you think that's kind of heading that way?
It's been a weird career, George, because initially we all loved him. You know, he could barely speak English. He was broken English. He was funny. He was a lovable guy. He would leave it all on the ice every shift, whether it's big hits or great goals. We all remember the goal in Arizona. It was on his back, and he's spitting in he puts the stick over his head and bumps it in. He was like a lovable guy that we all sort of got behind. And then something changed with Ovechkin, and I don't know what it was, but maybe it was the lack of playoff success. He sort of became a different guy. He was bitter. He was a little bit cynical. But now I think we're starting again, George, to get that soap and warm water feeling about him. For years it was the Crosby versus Ovechkin battle. That's pretty much done now. And throughout his entire career, he has just been a consistent performer. You know, at least 40 goals a season. You know, he's a guy that I think you can pencil in between 40 and 50 every year. And I think we're starting to see him smile a little bit more. I think we're starting to see a happier Alexander Ovechkin. And we're not focusing so much on the shortcomings in his game, but I think we're accenting what's really positive about Alex Ovechkin. So yeah, I don't know that we're there, you know, where we were in his rookie season, but I think we're getting back to loving Alexander Ovechkin again.
Jeff Merrick, host of the NHL and Sports, joins us. You were doing the Sioux Erie game tonight, correct?
Oh, it should be a good one too. All the teams have been great.
Hasn't it been a series?
It's been fantastic. I still think that Sioux can pull this one out. I still think that Sioux is a better capital T team, but man, it's Connor McDavid pulling the Erie Otters around and saying, no boys, we're going to win this series and we're going on to the OHL final here. McDavid has taken his game to a whole different level, and you always love guys that as the games get bigger, their games get greater, and that's Connor McDavid right there. And I've seen plenty of them. You know, I never saw Gila Fleur live. I never saw Mary with my own eyes, but as far as seeing a junior hockey player, I haven't seen a better one than Sidney Crosby, or than Connor McDavid, and that includes Sidney Crosby.
You know, and here's a quick stat for you. I'm sure you know it. 18 goals, 32 points in 12 playoff games. That's putting a team on your back and rolling around.
They're highlight goals.
Yeah.
You know, like,
shorthanded goals.
Well, you like that shorthanded breakaway goal, the Forsberg Nielsen move.
Unreal.
And he's dusting the puck as he goes down the ice too.